What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the channel. So we're going to be talking about an ETF that I'm actually buying right now and why I'm buying this ETF when the market's down, when fear is elevated, okay? Because this is a play on the inverse of that, okay? So I'll explain what that means. I'll explain a little more about this. I talked about it in a recent community post, so make sure you always check out that community tab. If I have some ideas, I might throw an idea in that community tab when I see something that makes some sense. But right now we're looking at SPY, and the reason why we're looking at SPY is because it pulled back the past couple of days. It is up as of right now when I'm filming this today. Market's closing soon, but we've seen some volatility, so maybe it goes red, maybe it goes crazy green. We'll see what happens, obviously, when you're watching this video. But we fell below this area of support, this 410, and we came down to the 50 SMA, down around this 404, which actually was a decent area to bounce, and now we're potentially bouncing and getting rejected again by that area of support, which is now turning to resistance, okay? Got some videos on the channel already going over technical analysis, support, resistance. So I'd highly recommend you check out some of those videos because they're definitely really helpful when it comes to identifying these areas and how you can figure this stuff out for yourself for any given stock. But that said, when we see a pretty big drawdown, we had inflation fears, we still do. We have inflation fears, we see a drawdown in the overall markets, tech selling off. What elevates generally, right, when we see fear in the market? Well, we actually see that starts to elevate is the VIX. And so when the VIX elevates, that is indicating we are fearful, right? Uncertainty, right? But now if you look back at the VIX, there's a saying called short the VIX. And if you look back at the VIX, whenever the VIX spikes, look at these spikes all over the past couple of months, even, go back even years, right? You look at the VIX, the last time it spiked massively was when we had the crash, the pandemic began. That was kind of a different story. But at the same time, shorting the VIX back then, you made a killing over the next couple of months as things kind of got back to normal. So what we're looking to do here is we're looking to essentially short the VIX by taking advantage of this short-term fear. Now, of course, the risk here is that we see some more elevated fear over the longer term and that the VIX stays elevated. However, if you look back to the VIX's history, we see these spikes and then these drops pretty quickly right back down to levels it was just trading at. So how do we short the VIX? Well, right here, SVXY. That is the ticker. That's the ETF that we're talking about. And look at this. So this is essentially going to be kind of opposite of the VIX, okay? So we're looking to go short the VIX by going long SVXY. So when you buy shares of this ETF, you're essentially shorting or buying or betting on volatility to fade back off. And in this situation, the way that I'm thinking about this is a very solid 5, 10, maybe 15+% trade in the near term. And if we do see some more downside or we see some more fear and volatility, then that gives us a better opportunity to add in. And so my plan here is to add as this comes down. If it does come down further, it may not after the spike from yesterday, is to add into this and look to sell this guy back up around 50 bucks. Back when we see things kind of calm back down. Now, may that happen in a week? May it happen in 3 days? May it happen in a month? I don't know. But I think that we are pretty safe in taking a shot here at SVXY right now with this play. At the same time, always leaving myself some cash to add down. But if you're buying shares here, it's a really kind of a lower risk play to play back into some of the recovery. Now, we don't even need SPY to go back to all-time highs for the VIX to come down and for SVXY to go back to 50. All we need is this shorter term inflation fears and worries and all this craziness that we're kind of seeing and all this fear mongering just to kind of cool off, and this will come right back to 50 bucks. I'm not looking for really more than 50. I mean, obviously you probably can look for more if you have a longer term approach, but I think 50 bucks is a pretty nice target on that. So a couple dollar move here in the next couple of days, weeks, potentially longer. Obviously, we'll see how things play out, but I like this one a lot. And so it's a great way to essentially short the VIX by buying shares and going long a ETF. That's the inverse, okay? So hopefully that makes some sense. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward video for you here today. I thought this was something that's worth talking a little bit more in detail about and worth sharing rather than just making that community post. But I figured that I'd let you guys know at least what I'm doing with this guy and my plan. Obviously, I still have my swings and things like that in the background that are working as they dip. I look to buy more, and that's pretty much how I go about that. But taking this for a short-term trade is definitely something I'm adding to at least my belt or my arsenal, at least as of right now. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button if you got some value out of this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and check out some other videos here on the channel. I'd highly recommend you check out some of the playlists that have a lot of informational stuff. And it's a really good time right now when the market's kind of volatile and going crazy and you can't get a great sense of direction or you're struggling with that, then it's a great time to hone in on some strategies, hone in on some skills, support, resistance, technical analysis, things like that, so that you're ready for when things kind of calm back down and we kind of get back to somewhat normalcy. Obviously, things are always changing, but appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.